Okay.
Minions have spawned.
So looking good. The minions have spawned up, and we don't have any level 1 action going on here. Intel is just kind of hanging out, going to get a little pull for Lee Sin so that he has an easy time picking up that blue buff. Kind of a non-standard. A lot of times Lee Sin will grab that red and go for a quick level 2 gank, but I think what he might be doing is, well, we'll have to wait and see. He could possibly go for a quick level 2 on top lane instead without the blue, or potentially going in to Udir's jungle for some counter gank, counter jungle, but he will have to be careful because he definitely cannot take out Udir as Udir is much stronger in the jungle than he is. Looks like we got some zoning going on here. Lights Out is just gonna stand here and make it so that Tarek cannot, run into this bush here to zone out Vayne. Same thing from Tarek. I mean, both of these champions rely on standing in the bush and waiting for somebody to walk close enough for them to really go in and, make some damage happen. Up top, he is going to have to be careful for those electro harpoons as they can do a lot of damage. In bottom lane, lots of damage coming in. It looks like they're both trading quite similar though, so we're not actually seeing someone winning out on that fight there. I think we're gonna have to wait until Alistar gets around level 2 so that we can get that full damage coming in, that full combo from Pulverize and Headbutt. And there he is level 2 now. Of course, Tarek does have his Shatter, which is gonna give that aura buff to Graves here. You can see he's already at over 50, close to 60 armor each time he attacks, getting that passive built up. Whereas Vayne only at 29, so definitely going to be taking a lot more damage from Graves, especially if Tarek can run in there and put a Shatter down on her. That's going to reduce her armor to almost nothing. Let's take a look. It actually reduces, it reduces champion's armor by 10. Basically, the amount that it gives, it's going to reduce hers by. So it's gonna be pretty scary to deal with. Now here's a gank up top lane. Looks like Udyr comes in onto the Wukong, and this could be really bad. Like I said, these junglers gonna make a huge difference in this, and first blood gonna be going down for the perfect person. And I just called it. I mean, if Rumble gets a good lead here on Wukong, it's gonna be extremely difficult for Wukong to do anything against him. He cannot shut that down, and if Udyr just continues to come in here and gank that, that's going to be very detrimental to them. They're going to need Lee Sin to kind of go up top lane and help him get his advantage back. Hopefully he doesn't lose too many creeps here, or that's just going to be really bad. The creeps are pushing. Doesn't look like it's actually going to go to the tower, so the lane will freeze right here. Wukong will probably lose 3 or 4 creeps. Not that bad since it is early on, but still that first blood gold for Rumble is a big, big thing. And here we see Lee Sin coming around, going to try and get a nice gank in. Let's see if he can get around here and land. A Sonic Wave does actually miss it, unfortunately, onto the Tarek, but Tarek will use Flash to try and escape. Don't know if he actually is going to be able to, as Vayne, one lore auto attack from Xerox will actually finish that off. The red buff really keeping him slowed so he couldn't escape there, so that's good. Lee Sin doing some great work down on the bottom lane. Now he gets caught at the wall plug, just in the worst possible spot you could be in. Definitely does not did not want to do that, but that's going to be another kill now for bottom lane, and I think that after that point right there, that's going to give these guys a huge advantage here. And now Gate coming in to the middle lane, looks like Udyr just really doing work both on the top lane and the middle, giving both of his solos that advantage. And I think regardless of how bottom lane is doing, if both solos here start to pull ahead, then Ernst and Young is really going to be in a very strong position. Again, this is a very it's going to be a tense game. This is a best of 1 match, so this is a league play. It's not an actual tournament format, so it's based on points, and so both teams really. They want to make sure they don't let each other get snowballing against. The game is actually very close. You look at the global gold up top, and nobody's really pulling ahead too far. It's just going to come down to how these lanes kind of pan out. And I think right now Wukong having a lot of trouble against this Rumble up here. Good thing for him, he's got this ward though, so he can feel a little bit safe being here. Unfortunately, the lane is frozen in the worst possible position for him. He doesn't want to be there at all, but there's not really much he can do about it because Rumble is not really pushing that creep wave down. Of course, he is losing that farm. He was trying to do some poke. He doesn't want to lose that big creep just to attempt to do some poke, but either way, he is zoning out that Wukong, so this could be good for him. I mean, if Wukong's not getting that experience, then Rumble's definitely going to pull ahead quite nice against him. Wukong coming in there, trying to do a little bit of poke just outside of the turret range, not too bad, and this is just what I was talking about. Wukong normally would have gotten out of that without taking home too much damage at all, but unfortunately, all he has to do is turn on that Flame Spitter and run in his general direction, and it looks like he might actually pick up a kill there. Yes, Flame Spitter was able to take him down, even though he missed his ultimate. Rumble is just way too strong now. With 2 kills, he's going to be able to go back, and he's going to have that Gunblade, or sorry, that Revolver, which is going to allow him to just have so much sustain, and I really don't think there's any chance for Wukong to come back in that lane. He's too far behind right now, and once Rumble gets ahead, just 1 or 2 kills, you're going to need a lot of assistance from that Lee Sin. Lee Sin really needs to go up top lane and just camp that Rumble and not allow that Rumble to farm at all. He literally just needs to stand in one of these bushes and say, Rumble, you're not going to get anything off, because I think right now the rest of these lanes can handle themselves. Of course, Vayne really has to push this out. In fact, they're in a bad spot on bottom lane if Tarek's able to stay in this position. But if they can push this back out, get a ward in this bush, they're going to be fine on the bottom lane. So I think Lee Sin literally just needs to camp that top and help him out. If not that, though, he's going to have to get one of his other lanes fed. Possibly just, he could technically camp bottom as well. I mean, they are pushed up quite heavily here. Of course, they have plenty of vision, so they can see that. But, I mean, that's another thing he can do, is just help his bottom lane get really fed. And if Vayne gets really fed, then she's going to carry so hard in the late game, regardless of if this Rumble gets really strong. But who knows? We're going to have to wait and see how it goes. And crap, there's a nice gank there into the middle. Once again, this Udyr really doing work, making these guys just really try and pay attention very heavily. I mean, Intel, they have to look out for that Udyr. I mean, the Udyr's basically gotten Rumble the lead he needed to win against Wukong, and now he's helping the Kennen actually win. So both middle and top lane for Ernst & Young winning out right here. That's going to be very difficult for Intel to come back from if they're not careful. Now, watching this bottom lane, let's take a look here. 52 to 62. Now, Graves actually pulling ahead of bottom. So this is going to be really bad, as all the lanes are starting to win at this point. And if that's the case, then they're going to snowball very heavily, especially when it starts coming to those dragon fights, and they're not strong enough to fight back against that. And yeah, basically every creep wave that comes in, and Alkan's able to sit here in this bush with no wards, is a moment where they're going to just continually lose out in this lane. It's kind of difficult to last hit when the tower is blowing up all of your creeps. So they really want to just like shove this lane out. I think they need Alistar to come up here and just pulverize all those minions and help Vayne really just push them back. But look at this counter juggling action. Wrecked here, walking all the way in here, kind of in a bad spot for him, but he is Udyr. He can literally just walk right out of there, completely safe. He doesn't pick up the red buff, but he does waste a little bit of Vayne's time there on the bottom. She is sick. Let's see if she's going to pop her ultimate and try and go in for a kill here. Red kind of flash over the wall. Really nicely done there, making his escape. And again, wasted a lot of time from Vayne and Alistar, while Graves had just gone back, picked up a couple of items. He's going to come back to lane a lot stronger than Vayne. Let's see if she actually decides to go back. He will. Alistar will be going back. Vayne actually going to go back to the lane with the same items that she's got, so she's going to be behind that Graves, going to be harder to engage. And then middle lane, now not even needing the assistance of a gank, just completely demolishing this Vladimir. And with that Will of the Ancients already built up, I can just say right now that Ernst & Young is an amazing, just an extremely amazing position. Look at this, he's already got a Ninja Tabby as well as a Revolver, so not only is he taking much reduced damage, he's got a shield, and he's taking reduced damage, but he's also got that healing, so any kind of poke that Wukong is able to do to him, he's just going to heal it right back up from that Revolver. And yeah, every little bit of poke counts here. He can technically throw down his ultimate as soon as he feels the need to dive this, and I think he's in a really good spot to dive right here. He can technically just run in there and land his ultimate onto Wukong right there. If he lands it right there in the middle of that turret, this could be a kill on Wukong. Is he going to go for it? He's just trying to poke as much as he can with his harpoon, and there goes the ultimate, and that's going to be a kill onto Wukong. He was just waiting for the perfect opportunity. Played very nicely there. That Rumble doing just an amazing job, and look at this. Ernst & Young now picked up the dragon, and that's going to put them in a very good position. All 3 lanes winning very considerably, 2k gold ahead. Intel's really going to need to make a big play soon if they want to come back from this. I think if they give up the next dragon, they're going to probably be in a spot that they are going to be very hard pressed to come back from. And look at that damage coming in. Plog just completely pelting down Grino's health. And she really returned nothing to him. She wasn't able to still watch him. He placed down that shroud on her head. She had no vision of him. And look here, nice gank coming in. Lee Sin trying to do some work onto Kennen, but gets stunned and almost going to die. Teleport coming in. This is going to be bad as Rumble's going to run in here and probably pick up a double kill onto these guys. Possibly even a triple if they stay in. He actually flashes out. Going to go safely. Nice job for this Vayne able to pick that up. Hill keeps her alive and she stays out of there with that invisibility. Intel making a great play like I said they needed to do. And Ernst & Young just wasn't able to turn that around nicely. And now all 5 in the middle lane, they are going to pick up this middle tower, most likely. But I don't know. It looks like Rumble wants to stick around and push this back as much as possible. It's going to be very difficult for them to pick this up. They don't have a lot of damage. They don't have Vayne there. If Vayne was there, they would have probably been able to pick that up. But unfortunately for them, Graves and Tarek were like, whatever, guys. We'll just pick up that bottom tower. So that is actually pretty much a fair trade. 1 tower for 1. Of course, Vayne did pick up that 1 kill as well. So that's going to be good for her. And they are going to be grabbing that just a little bit of farm from that those small golems, and they do give a pretty nice amount of gold and XP as well, so not a bad pickup there. Okay, well here we go, and Wrecked in here just grabbing a refresh on his blue buff. Again, like I said, since Wrecked does not have anybody on his team who needs the blue buff, he he is going to be able to grab that as a jungler every single time. And right now, Kennen's in a great spot. Look at this. He's a level ahead. He's got a full Will of the Ancients built up. Merc Treads to avoid some magic damage from them. In fact, I don't know if Merc Treads was necessary for Kennen, but because as they don't have any stuns at all, and that's kind of the interesting thing to look at. The really only CC they have is Alistar knockup, but look at that damage coming in. So much onto Kennen, and he was almost able to make it out there. Wasn't able to juke it completely, so nice play by Intel being able to pick that up. And if Vayne keeps picking up these kills here, she is going to get really fed. Ultimate misses from that Rumble, not doing really anything at all, but he could potentially pick up a kill on Lee Sin, and he does. And now Vayne in a bad spot, rolling right on top of him. Rek going to grab that with an auto attack. And now Myciel is on the run. Can Vladimir make his escape? I don't think so. He uses his pull to try and escape, and he's just going to take 1 more hit before he falls. And there's the flash. Rek can jump onto him, stun him. He goes down to Rex for another kill. That's going to be a 3-for-2 trade. So in the favor of Ernst & Young once again. Now pulling ahead with just a little over 3k gold advantage. So Vayne was doing quite well, but it looked like she got caught in just a bad spot there on top of that Rumble, rolling right onto his face. All he had to do was turn on his flame spitter and stand there, and she fell quite quickly. It looks like Rumble's actually going to wait a bit before finishing off his Will of the Ancients. Going to go into that first building into a Rylaze, which is not a bad choice at all. Not only does he have the slow from his ultimate and from his Electro Harpoon, but then once he grabs that Rylaze, he's going to have the tankiness and even more slow from all of his abilities. So it's going to be very difficult for anybody to run away from him, or he can also run away himself. I mean, he's already got a speed boost, so a lot of hiding potential from him if he really decides that he needs to do that. So it's going to be hard for Wukong to do much. In fact, you look at Wukong's items, Wukong still has not built up a full item as of yet, other than just his Merc Tread boots. Taking a look at Vlad, he's in the same spot really. He's got a Will of the Ancients going, and so he's fairly even with Kennen right now as far as that's concerned. And so it's just going to come down for right now between these two guys who can really get each other low enough. And I don't think they're going to be able to poke each other down. Both of them are kind of poking champions. I mean, Kinnan has more burst, so I still have to give it to Kinnan if they have a straight up engage that Kinnan would be able to take him down. Wards being placed here. I think they may have some timers on this dragon and getting ready to pick it up. Lots of coverage from both teams. Ready to go, but look at that damage, man. Kinnan really hurting this Vayne right now. She's gonna have to get some good positioning. Oracle's very early being picked up by Alistar here. Now he's gonna be able to remove all that vision, but he needs to be very careful because they are gonna come in here. They don't want to get sandwiched as Plog and Alcon coming in here from behind. And if they're able to get in there and catch him, and if they lose this team fight and lose that Oracle's, Intel's going to be in a very bad spot because that is a very early Oracle's. Luckily, he does have 2 gold per 5 items at least, so he's going to have some extra gold going on. But at the same time, they have to be just very vigilant and make sure that they don't put themselves in a bad spot. Which right now they're actually coming in from behind, but this is a whole team fight. And nice ultimate from Wukong goes in and completely destroys Plog before he's able to do any work. However, everybody is standing on top of that Rumble ultimate, taking massive damage, and MyCL now going to go down, and so this is really bad as Rumble's going to be able to clean this up, and that is definitely an Oracle's loss. That's going to be the ace for only 1 kill. They took out Graves, but at the expense of their entire team, and an Oracle's and Dragon going to go down. Wow, Intel putting themselves really far behind there, and let's take a look. After this Dragon is picked up, that is over it looks like about a 7,000 gold advantage in the favor of Ernst & Young at this point. They're going to be very hard pressed, Intel is, to come back and win this. After that last play, I think that was a little bit silly on their part, running all the way up into the jungle, and they literally all just stood right on top of Rumble Ultimate for its entire duration. That was the perfect spot for Rumble to place that down. He did such a great job with that, and I have to give him big props on his placement of that ultimate. And unfortunately for Intel, they just didn't have the right positioning to really win that fight. They don't want to fight in these little small spaces. I think they want to fight out in the open where Rumble can miss his ultimate and people can run out of it. And another Oracle is being picked up by Alistar. So much gold being spent on those. And I don't know if that was the right choice to have that so early. Usually you want to have your Oracles around the time that you're going for that Dragon. Also, Oracles is great item to have if you're actually a little bit ahead and you're going to be pushing into the enemy's area and removing all their control so that you can pick them up. But right now he's going to be really far behind from that. We'll see if it actually pays off. He has been able to remove 2 wards, so in his favor, that's good. It is actually paying off a little bit before then this next engagement happens. And they're trying to make sure that there is no Baron engage happening. However, they really need to take out some turrets before that. And this is going to be the engage with Kinnan jumping in there on his ultimate. Plog takes out another Oracles on Alistar, and Intel's just in a terrible spot. Down goes Vladimir, and Rumble is just completely demolishing these guys, keeping them slowed down with his harpoon. And that's going to be 3 more kills for Ernst & Young. Now it's just going to be turning onto that Baron. And I think that right now, Intel is really just on their running away, their tails between their legs, and I don't feel like there's any chance with that type of play. I mean, they just can't straight up engage with Ernst & Young like that. They need to really just watch the engagements and the positioning that they're going in. There's way too much AoE damage coming in here from Ernst & Young. I feel like they want to go into a late game, but at the same time, Ernst & Young has a great late game team as well with that double Will of the Ancients built up. And there's a surrender vote, 5-0 going out. Intel saying we can't do much against you guys, and we know it. So we're going to go ahead and give this one up. And overall, I have to say, very well played by Intel. They did an amazing job. That Udyr completely demolished top and mid lane, giving them a massive advantage. And unfortunately, they just couldn't deal with that early game advantage that they had been given. So very well played, Udyr. And Rumble and Kinnan did a great job of keeping that advantage that was given to them. And overall, ended in their demise as Intel wasn't able to get any good team fights going on in the Dragon areas. And that was it.